Dear friends, since it's Mother's Day, I thought it would be good to dedicate this meditation to our mother. I think each one of us has a mother, and you might also have other people in your life who mothered you and cared for you, and whether they were a man or a woman who was your dear dedicated caretaker, especially when you were very small. So I invite you to bring this person to mind. Bring to your mind your mother or the other person or persons who were taking care of you. How they looked, how they smell, how they sound. When you touch them, what it was like. And then coming to your meditation posture, which is in the here and now. Making the body balanced and relaxed. If you can, making the body upright. Feeling the physical body, aware of the weight of the body pressing on the cushion, of the touch of your hands touching each other or touching your legs or your knee, of the feet touching the floor, of the room where you are sitting. This embodied physical presence being alive here in this meditation room, together through our computers, together with our dear Dhamma friends. And taking a couple of deep breaths to bring relaxation. Inhale deeply, hold, exhale. Inhale, hold, exhale. Inhale, hold, exhale. And then just breathing naturally, not too fast and not too slow, so that there's no effort in the breathing, just watching, just aware of sitting and breathing. And bringing to mind the unconditioned love that your mother had for you, even when you were first conceived and during her pregnancy. She doesn't know anything about you. She doesn't know what you look like, how you will turn out in life. But without knowing anything, she wants you to be happy. She wants you to live. She wants you to be a success. She loves you without knowing or caring anything about you. And even after you're born, Mother doesn't know how you're going to turn out, but she just loves you. This is metta, the pure love that wants happiness and spiritual success for another without making any distinctions. And remembering that you have metta for Mother. It doesn't matter what kind of person she was, or what she went through in life, or what she looked like. You just love her. You just appreciate that she gave you life. You want her to be free from trouble, to be free from worry, to be safe. And if she's passed on from this life, you want her to have a good rebirth. If she doesn't attain the deathless. Then speaking to your mother silently with your own simple words, saying, Mother, may you be well. And remembering when you were little that you couldn't take care of yourself if you were hungry, or if you had gas, or if you were sleepy, or if you were cranky for any reason. You just cried. And out of compassion, Mother understands the trouble and takes care of you. Whenever you were miserable, unhappy, in trouble, Mother would worry for you and look out to find a way to help. Always so compassionate for your welfare. And this was Mother's compassion for you. And remembering in all the ways your mother also suffered with this stress of taking care of the family. Oh, so many different problems. Whatever they were, acknowledging that Mother also suffers from the pain of pregnancy, the pain of childbirth, the worry and work of raising a family, the exhaustion, sometimes the mental problems of family life, and bringing up your own compassion, wishing that all that suffering can be completely gone, completely forgotten, leaving no mark. And if there's any suffering right now, wishing for that to be short, to come out of suffering, and to have the patience and courage to withstand the inevitable problems in life. Then speaking to your mother, whether she's still alive or passed on to another existence, speaking in your own words. Mother, may you be free from all suffering. And bringing to mind when you started to grow a little and become intelligent, how happy and delighted Mother was. The first time you say Mama or Dada, how happy they are, how delighted your mom is. When you can stand up, when you can walk, when you can play outside, when you can go to school. Every time you accomplish something, Mother is so pleased, so delightful. Oh, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. She is rejoicing in your success. And then recalling that your mother also was successful. Maybe her work was to raise a loving family. And here you are, a good person, a loving person, because of the success of your mother. Or anything else your mother did. Can you speak to her and say, Sadhu, oh mother, I feel so happy to see you, so grateful for all the good that you did. And calling to mind how you grew up and left your family home and chose your own friends, chose your own kind of work, chose your own girlfriend or boyfriend, or who you would marry if you married. And mother had to accept that you make your own decisions now. Whether she approves or doesn't approve, doesn't matter. And mother learned to be equanimous, to realize that she had done what she can do. And now you are the owner of your karma, making your own decisions. So she remains equanimous because she loves you, she lets you go. In the same way, you are equanimous towards your mother. Although she might have fallen ill and finally passed away, you did your duty to take care and to support, but you had to let her go. Or if she was a perfect person in every possible way, or she was not a perfect person and just followed her own character, making her own choices, how she wants to live. Because she is your mother, you let her do as she chooses. And you keep your own equanimity. Your love is not disturbed or upset because of these things that happen. In speaking to Mother, expressing that equanimity, whatever happens, it's okay. Your love is not shaken up. And then letting the Brahma Viharas go beyond your own personal mother and include all the mothers in this group in the minds of your fellow meditators here, all of those caregiving mothers. May all of them be well, safe, and secure. And may all the mothers in your city or town, all the mothers in your state, in your country, may all of them be safe. May all of them be happy. May all of them be peaceful. May all of them know love. Thinking of all the young mothers with so many difficulties in the modern world, so much insecurity. May all of them be safe. May all of them be happy. May all of them receive what they need to be successful. May all of them know love. And expanding awareness to include all the mothers I knew in my past lives since beginningless time. How many tears they shed for us. How much milk they gave us. And how any living being anywhere in this world could have been related to us. All of them could be mother. So looking out over all the males and females, the animals and insects, the devas, the angels, the gods, the beings in the woeful states, and thinking of all of them as being like Mother, with the same loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity for all the mothers all over this world. Dear friends, in reading the suttas, especially in the earliest strata of the teachings of the Theravada texts, the teachings about mother and father are somewhat scattered here and there. We see a few words or a few sentences here and there, and we see some stories about individual characters. There's one particular teaching that I want to call to your attention, because in our Jewish or Christian Bible, we have the definite part of our morality is that a person should honor their mother and father. That is not part of the 5 precepts or the 8 precepts, but there is this other teaching where in many cases, the Buddha emphasized the importance of honoring and caring for mother and father. Here, this for your reference. This is in the Book of Force in the Anguttara Nikaya. It has an unfortunate title. It's called the Maimed, or the Disabled. A person who doesn't care for their mother and father is disabled. But on the positive side, the Buddha said, bhikkhus behaving rightly towards 4 persons, the wise, competent, good person preserves himself unmaimed and uninjured. He is blameless and beyond reproach by the wise, and he generates much merit. What for? Behaving rightly towards his mother, behaving rightly towards his father, behaving rightly toward the Tathagata, and behaving rightly towards a disciple of the Tathagata. That person preserves himself unmaimed, uninjured. He is blameless beyond reproach. The person who behaves rightly towards mother, father, towards the enlightened Tathagata, or towards his disciple, generates much merit because of that righteous conduct towards mother and father. The wise praise one in this world, and after death, one rejoices in heaven. What I think is really amazing about this is that mother and father are put on such a high pedestal, right next to the Tathagata, right next to the Sama Sambuddha, the greatest human being in the entire world, is placed the mother and father as the ones who are the worthy objects for our care and respect, the ones for whom we should happily provide the requisites of life. We should go and bow down to them and respect them. We should wash their feet. We should give them medicine. We should help them with all of the necessities of life, just as we would be so deeply moved and thrilled if we had the opportunity to give something to a Tathagata or to a highly accomplished, enlightened being, if we were so lucky in this lifetime to encounter an enlightened person. And so I think it's very, in a way, uplifting to realize how the natural bond of affection that exists between the mother and the baby or the small child, the way that that small child, even to have the first idea about who they are as a person, is from gazing into the eyes of the mother and having that connection and seeing something reflected in that relationship. So even our existence as an individual is something that is formed out of that relationship with mother. Everything that we've learned when we were little, not just learning our ABCs, but also learning at the deepest level what it's like to be a human, what it means to be good, what's normal. We got these things when we were very small from the culture that we got at home from mother. There's another reflection that to me always reminds me of something that's we have to struggle to find the feminine side of the Buddhist teachings in a way, because for a long time it's been sort of like presented from a point of view, you could say, I don't know, masculine or intellectual point of view or something like that. But there's one teaching that always struck me as being, this is what a mother should do. And it's about right effort. Right effort is on the part of the Noble Eightfold Path. It's a training that we have learned. I think you all have heard of this. You're trying to avoid or prevent unwholesome states of mind from arising, or abandon them if they arise. And we should arouse wholesome states of mind that do not exist. And if we see that a wholesome state of mind did arise, we should nurture and develop that wholesome state of mind and bring it to perfection and stability, to the full maturity of its growth. So that's what right effort is. And there's a refrain in the explanation that's given in Pali, which the translation doesn't really bring out the analogy or the metaphor that I'm going to explain to you, but it comes out in the Pali language. It says, Chandan janeti vayamati viryama rabati chittam paganhati bodhati. So you arouse the wish, you give birth to a wish, or you give birth to a decision. This is sort of like the creative element in your spiritual practice. This act of making a decision, or of giving birth to an intention, it's a profoundly creative act. And I can compare this as a metaphor that a mother gives birth to a child. So you didn't exist in the form that you're in now as a human being with the identity that you have now did not exist. But because of your mother and your father and the role of your parents, they brought you into this world, and that act of creating a child was an act of both courage and creativity. And so let us think about this natural creative force among living beings and bring that natural force to our spiritual practice and arouse, give birth to good intentions, good wishes. The next word in that small phrase is Vayamati, which has to do with nurturing and making it grow. So if there's, you know, when the baby is conceived, you know, there's many different ways that it could not work out. It could come to a miss, and it could never even come to birth. Or else, if it is born, there's so many different things that could happen with a little infant. Or you could think, like if you plant a seed in the garden, and a little sprout comes up. And so here's your good intention. You gave birth to a good intention that says, oh, you know, I would like to be an arhat. But if it's just a teeny tiny little sprout like that that's so weak, it could die if you don't take care of it. So then you've got to provide the right conditions, you've got to provide protection, you've got to provide the water, you've got to provide the nutriment, you've got to do so many things to protect this weak intention that has come up in your mind that you've created, just the same way that your mother and your parents and caregivers took care of you until you were able to take care of yourself. And so if they could do that for you, can you exert the same kind of motherly care towards your good aspirations and take care of them, feed them, protect them, and let your aspirations grow and become strong? And the next phrase is Viriam Arabati, and this is stirring up strength. So virya is related to vira, like a manly, or a hero. The word hero is related to the word virya. So you would think of going beyond what's easy to do, bringing strength, step on the gas, really go to the ultimate in order to let your aspiration come to its fruition. And if you have ever been a parent, or if you know any parents, including your own, you know that there were many occasions that they had to go way beyond the call of duty. How many times they had to be up all night walking back and forth to take care of you. How many times you got in trouble and they had to do one thing or another to get you out of trouble or to take care of you. How many times they had to sacrifice their own comfort in order to save enough money to put you in school and to give you the things that you needed. So just the same way that mother has got this amazing strength, this amazing energy and courage to protect you, to get you out of trouble, and to protect you from harm. Can you arouse the same kind of courage in protecting and going to the ultimate level with your noble aspiration or your highest aspiration, what you want to do in the holy life. So are you willing to do for yourself with the same kind of strength and courage that your mother was willing to do for you? And then the last one is, or the next phrase in that is called Chittan Paganhati, which is usually translated as they exert the mind. The Paganhati has got the literal meaning of taking hold. So if you take the chitta as the heart, you know, the Christian song, Lift Up Your Heart. So this part of right effort is lift up your heart, get a grip, take hold, be connected. And I think we can reflect about natural mother love and see how mother brings her heart to the work of being a mother, how she has that heart connection with you. And it's because of that heart connection that that mother work is able to be successful. And so then we can again think for ourselves, like, can I bring my heart connection to my practice to take care of myself with as much heart as my mother had in taking care of me? And the last word in this phrase is parahati, which it has the meaning striving, but it's a bit of a pun for me. Pada is feet, and when I was younger, I hiked the Appalachian Trail, and it was one step after another. So in order to get from the beginning to the end of the Appalachian Trail, you just have to keep going. Don't stop, keep going. So when I started the hike, my brother said, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. And I said, oh, but brother, this is 2,000 miles. And he said, well, it starts with 2 steps. So then the thing is, if I want to visit you, and if I get on the train when I'm allowed to get on the train, if I get off in Novato, I won't be able to see you because I didn't go the whole way. I stopped partway and I got lost or confused or forgot what I was doing. And so the parahati is go the distance, go the whole way, and don't stop until the work is done. And again, this is something I think that what adults do for children, what families do for each other, that they will keep going and continue month in and month out, winter, spring, summer, fall, year in and year out. They continue doing the ever-changing, whatever it is that's their duty that needs to be done in order to help the child or the children to move along in this life until they're able to become independent. And so then just the same way, if I try to do for my practice as my mother did for me, let me try to not give up, not get lost, not just go halfway and get tired. Can you imagine if mother and father really enjoyed having a little small children, but they didn't like teenagers. And so then when you get to be like 12 or 13 years old, they say, well, this is not really working out. Can you go somewhere else or something like that? But we don't do that. That's not what a normal family does. And just the same way, our path goes through many twists and turns, many stages of evolution. Maybe at the beginning, our path is very inspiring and we feel so thrilled at the progress that we're making. And then later on, we may get a little bit like lazy in our practice, and we're sort of like drifting and not making an effort anymore or distracted. But we got to just remember to go the whole way. So in this way, by arousing energy, making it grow, exerting ourselves, using our heart, and going the distance, we can nurture our own spiritual path the same way that if we are a parent, we nurture the children, or the same way if we were a child that our parents nurtured us. So the Pali again is Chandan Janeti Vayamati Viryang Arabati Chittam Panganhati Parahati. So I think there's a whole 30 minutes left in this time. I can give you another metaphor, or I can invite your questions and comments. What do you think? Who wants another metaphor? Yes, okay, here comes another metaphor. This is part of the 5 reflections for everybody, and it's also part of the 10 reflections for a monastic. I am the owner of my karma, born of my karma, abide supported by my karma, related to my karma. Whatever karma I shall do, whether for good or for ill, of that I will be the heir. When I say, I am the owner of my karma, this always seemed a little bit weird to me, because in Buddhism, when we study about non-self, in so many different ways, different things that come up, we're trying to think, oh, this is not me, not mine, not myself. And so why is it that in this case, the sutta is telling us, I'm the owner of my karma? It's a kind of a puzzle, isn't it? But actually, if you look at the language, it gives the metaphors are giving metaphors of family life. So in family life, I'm the owner of my family name. I'm born from my family. And I have a destiny to take over the family business and to inherit the wealth of the family. And so people think that their family and the material things that are connected to the family, the wealth of the family, are the things that are mine. And so what the Buddha is saying is, actually, your family is not yours. Your wealth is not yours. The family business is not yours. Even your family name is not yours. None of those things are yours. The only thing which is yours is your karma, meaning the intentional actions that you do and the fruit thereof. So when it says, I'm the owner of my karma, it says kamasaka, kamasakomi. So I am a kamasaka. You could say that's my family name. I'm a karma person. Like it's like being Johnson. I'm the karma daughter. I'm the daughter of my karma. And that becomes my name. That's my kamasaka. And then it says kama yoni. The yoni is the womb. So it's like the fruition of the previous karma is sort of like a matrix, and I am born with, let's say, the genetic pattern of belonging to this species. Like I'm a human being and I have all of the equipment that a human being gets, and I also have a lot of particular things in the matrix that comes from my family or the culture, whatever circumstance I'm born into. So the in this way, we could say that we are born into a pattern of our previous karma. That's the karma yoni. The karma is the womb that we come from. And then the karma bandhu, the bandhu has one meaning is a support or a bond. Another meaning of that word is those people who have the obligation to take care of you. So your father or your whatever person is your legal guardian is your bandhu. That's their job and their duty to take care of you. So your karma is also taking care of you. And then karma patisarno, it's like the karma is my relatives. And again, it's like it's sort of this beautiful metaphor, like the extended family. And we might, like in real life, most people who haven't studied it or really reflected about it or had a chance to learn, assume that like their extended family is part of their identity. That the kind of person they are, I'm the child of those ones and the niece of those ones and the sibling of those ones. And all of these relations are part of who I am. But we know that relatives are impermanent and that can't be relied on because it won't last. Eventually we'll be separated by death. But our karma is like our family. So karma is not one thing. There's many different karmas that have happened in the past. And every day you do many different intentional things. In one day, you might do a certain number of really noble and beautiful, mindful and wise intentional actions, creating good karma. And you might do a certain number of karmas that are just done habitually without thinking, that are affected by delusion. Or you might do a certain number of karmas that are just knee-jerk reactions coming out of greed and aversion. So there's a whole mixture of different karmas, and you could think of them as like living in a crowded house with a lot of different relations, and they're all kind of like different. And so this is the actual family you live with is not very important, but the karma that you live with is quite significant and can have the decisive impact both on your happiness and also on your opportunity to practice and develop wisdom. So doing wholesome karma, having a preponderance of karmas that are freed from greed, hatred, and delusion, which are under the influence of wisdom and the thought of non-harming, the thought of kindness. Those karmas are conducive to happiness and also conducive to a safe and calm mind, which is the mind which is then able to practice and has a chance to make some progress in the Dhamma. So the karma is your relatives. And then whatever karma I do, for good or for ill, of that karma, I will be the heir. And even in the early commentary on this passage, what they say is that just the same way that a person could go on a long trip and then subsequently, it might be a year later or many months later, they finally find their way back home. And then their friends and relatives will come out and greet them and welcome them back home. Just the same way, whatever karma that we do is like then at the end of this life, if we are reborn and we come to another state of existence, all of the karmas that we did before will be there to greet us, just like all of those long lost friends and relatives come out to greet us. And so you would hope that it would be a friendly and a warm reception of loving and beneficial relations who will give you a beautiful welcome instead of some kind of a hostile tribe who is not supportive for your welfare. So here again, what I can emphasize is what we are developing in the Dhamma is very deep and very difficult to understand, very subtle. And yet we know for sure that what the Buddha realized and what the noble arahants realize is something that a human being is able to realize. It's coming from the capacity, the characters, the tendencies that we have as a human being are the very same capacities and tendencies that we have to develop in order to find our way along this path until we get to a space with enough calm and clarity, with enough seclusion from afflictive states to be able to look ever more deeply and to have the chance for insight to arise. But this path of training towards gradually getting freed from the afflictive states, freed from the negative tendencies, freed from being a victim of our own greed, hatred, and delusion. This path comes from recognizing our inclination towards goodness, towards love, towards non-harming, towards compassion, and then developing and favoring and valuing those tendencies. And so the Buddha very often did take metaphors from the relationship of the mother to the only child, as in the Karaniya-metta Sutta, or the different relationships and situations that we have in the family life. And this is one way that we know that this path is attainable to us. I hope that you would remember to use the warm love that you have for your mother, or the love that you have for your children, the love that you have for the people who are lovable in your life, and let that be a starting point, which then can be expanded and becoming ever more inclusive, and then including people who you didn't naturally care about, who are not that lovable or not that easy to love, until finally your practice is so mature that it can become boundless. And with that practice of boundless loving kindness, it's possible to enter into samadhi and to develop the kind of deep meditation which is really secluded from affliction. And that is a very powerful place for wisdom and insight to take root. And we are so lucky and blessed that we each had a mother who helped us when we were little. So now I've really come to the end of my talk, and I thank you for your patient listening.